In our very first story, 4 people have been injured in a feud between 2 ethnic groups at the Gbugloshi area here in Accra. The 4, a police officer and 3 residents, are on admission at the police hospital and Kolebu Accident Unit respectively. Security has been beefed up and the Regional Security Council is in a meeting to find a lasting solution to what appears to be an age-old feud. Derek Ekosam has been following the story in our reports.
The clash started around 10 a.m., but for the timely intervention of the police, some lives will have been lost. 4 people, including a police officer, were injured in the feud that lasted for over 6 hours. 2 residents suffered head injuries, while another person was stabbed during the scuffle. After trying to control the angry crowd, the police had to fire tear gas into the crowd to disperse them. DCOP Christian Tete Yohunu is the Accra Region Police Commander.
We had information that they were clashing. Then quickly we deployed police here. There was a need to bring more reinforcements, so we brought some from the FPU to add to the number that we had, and then that have been able to help us at least to contain the situation up to this level. So for now, we will continue to be on the ground until at least there is really perfect peace. Okay, when we came here, it was as a result of a woman from the scrap dealer side going to defecate at the side of the onion sellers. And then they were not happy why the woman should cross over to come and bring a child to defecate there. And so there was some small altercation, and then the woman went and informed the husband at the scrap dealer side, who mobilized to also come and confront these people who attacked the woman and the child. So based on that, that is where the stone throwing, the missiles were being thrown here and there until police came in to come and solve the situation. Well, I don't know the root cause, whether they have any remote cause, there's anything between, but I think always, we have different ethnic groups over here, and they work according to their ethnic lining. And so when there's a least transgression against one side, the other people mobilize to attack.
The secretary of the Greater Accra Scrap Dealers Association believes the situation could have been avoided.
Somebody should have stopped that man who was beating that small boy. No, they have leadership. Let us contact them and let them be aware of what is going on so that they can talk to their boss and stop this thing. I believe this would have stopped this thing and there will not be any problem. So these are some of the course rules of what are happening in this area. You understand? Preventing us to coexist. After all, we are all doing our respective work. We are all Muslims. We are working together. Why should we fight among ourselves? These are some of the things that are causing the problems. Leadership. We have to live up to whatever that we have been put there to do. Moving forward, we want peace.
The Deputy Greater Accra Regional Minister, Ni Jangma Vanderpoy, says a buffer has been put up to serve as a barrier between the 2 groups.
They've been able to create a buffer between the 2 factions. There was a slight misunderstanding again. That's why you see them shouting there. But the regional minister and the regional security council, in fact, we have invited the leaders of both factions to a meeting right this afternoon to try to talk to them to cool down tempers. Apart from that, I don't think there's any problem.
So currently, the way things are going, you do not think it may go out of control?
No, it will not go out of control. Once we have the security here, and once we are going to engage the leaders, and impress upon them the need to ensure peace in this area, I think, because they've been living here. And definitely, this fight cannot get them out of this place. They will continue to be here. And to be here, you need to live peacefully with each other. But these things have been there always, and they've always lived with it. They've always lived with it. But once somebody is actually touched, then you know that there's a problem. And that's what we are trying to resolve now.
The Regional Security Council proceeded into a meeting to find a lasting solution to what has become an age-old feud. Derek Ekosam, Gbugloshi, Accra.
Meanwhile, authorities at the accident unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital say that 2 injured residents are responding to treatment. Principal Nursing Officer Vida Odonko, however, says they may probably have to live with the trauma for the rest of their lives.
2 victims were brought. And what is the extent of damage done to them injury-wise?
One person have severe head injury and one has a stab wound on the chest. Currently, both of them are not quite stable. They are not quite stable.
When you say not quite stable, how alarming is the situation?
It's that they are patients that cannot go home, at least not for today. Yes.
So
we are detaining them, and we want the specialists to come and take a look at them, and then we'll manage them as the specialists will decide.
For how long will they be here?
For the one that was stabbed in the chest, I hope within the next 2 days he might be able to go home. But the one with the head injury, he will have to stay for some time. I wouldn't know how long he will stay. The neurosurgeons will have to decide on that.
Will they have to undergo any form of surgeries?
I wouldn't stick my neck out, but it looks like he's bleeding inside. They've done a CT scan. The surgeon will have to come and take a look at that one. Then he will decide what he wants to do, whether he will go in for surgery or he will manage conservatively.
Will they suffer any lifelong deformities as a result of the incidents?
Well, some of these incidents, especially with the head injuries, yes, most patients eventually suffer long term. Some people will end up with fits in the long term. Others will be fine.
In all of this, who is bearing the cost?
It's difficult to say that at the moment. The neighbors that brought the patient and then the hospital. So far we've managed them without cash. Some of the drugs, the IV fluids, we had to collect from the pharmacy. Without them, we had to go in for credit.
A 20-year-old Togolese man is in police custody for allegedly murdering and then defiling the corpse of a 7-year-old girl at a shaman here in Accra. The body of the deceased was only discovered on Tuesday, 2 days after the man had dragged her into his room. Beatrice Edu visited the community and has come through with this report.
It's a Tuesday morning, and the death of a 7-year-old girl whose name has been withheld is the only thing the family members want to talk about. Auntie of the girl, Doris Mensah, tells us how it happened.
Into Sunday, and upon a minute, Karani, Nayetna, yes, Mimi, see, no, almost squatana, non so see, almost sauce. And Mimi Vietnamese, Mpedemuke, Manostamina, Coaching, na Oba Obeto Mango Ede, Abremi. Na mikoye ntimi mikoya mebano na omofrem say minyako na mpike my sister pen.
We sent her to get bread for us on Sunday morning. When we finished washing, after several hours, she didn't come back. Then we started searching for her. It was during the search a young girl told us she saw the guy dragging her into the kiosk. After that, she heard her scream, so we should check. We found her dead. The guy confessed she killed her, slept with the corpse afterwards for money. We want the police to take this case seriously.
She's concerned abduction of children is becoming a worrying phenomenon in the neighborhood. Neighbors here agree. Alice, who is a resident, tells me she is scared for her own children.
It could be me, it could be you. Let's do something about it. Let's just don't say it for now and leave it behind. It's unfair.
If you say this is not the first time, how many cases have you heard?
For now, I've heard about 4 cases at my top here. They used to come, please, have you seen a little girl, a little boy? This is not the first time. One even complained this morning, they've not seen the child yet. So we should just open our ears. If we see a child missing or a child being murdered somewhere, we should come and call them. And this is going on in this area.
I can see you're becoming emotional whilst you're talking. Any reason?
Yes, I also have children. I used to send them, we have 2 houses, I used to send them to the other house. What if the child is going, they just kidnap him or kill him on the way?
Right behind me is the kiosk. the container or whether a 20-year-old man is alleged to have killed her allegedly and defiled her afterwards. And when you look through the window, you'd realize that he's partitioned the small kiosk into a chamber and a hall. And what we've been told is that when the police actually went in there, they saw a number of clothes belonging to children, blood in the clothes, as well as flip-flops for these children. For now, the case has been transferred from the Tema Regional Police to CID headquarters in Accra for further investigations, while the man remains behind bars. Beatrice Edu, Joy News, Ashaiman.
Pretty sad story, but still to come in the bulletin, we have a related story where the Mental Health Society is saying that essentially everyone needs some psychiatric evaluation at least once a year. But in other news, Interior Minister Mark Oyongo is at the head of a delegation to Bunkpurugu Nyonyo in the northern region, where ethnic clashes last week, which claimed two lives. The delegation will be meeting parties to dialogue on how they can broker peace in the area. A 4 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew has been placed on the area in an attempt to avert further clashes and destruction of property.
Bunkpurugu happens to fall under your traditional jurisdiction. And I must say that what happened the previous week did not amuse a lot of Ghanaians, because we thought that we have had enough of this unwanted destruction of property and killing of human beings. And I am here to inform you I'll be passing on to Bunkpurugu to look at the destruction that has been caused, and then look at the security situation on the ground, and then also admonish my brothers and sisters to give peace a chance. We destroy them during conflict or crisis situations. We cry because of poverty. The little money we have, we are rushing to go and buy arms and ammunition to kill each other. Nairi, I want to make a special appeal to you. Nalerugu, Gambaga have been very peaceful. I want to appeal to you to ensure that the other traditional areas under your jurisdiction enjoy the same peace as Gambaga and Nalerugu enjoy the peace. That is my special appeal to you. Let me also use this opportunity to say that we have this serious proliferation of arms into this part of the country.
The UN Special Envoy for West Africa, Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, has downplayed calls for broad stakeholder consultation in the appointment of a new Electoral Commission chairman. Dr. Chambers, who is also former Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs and Education, believes once the Constitution clearly stipulates how the EC boss must be appointed, doing anything else aside that will amount to an infraction. He spoke to Joy News' Felix Akoyam on the sidelines of a public lecture he delivered here in Accra.
Debate about who replaces Ghana's longest-serving Electoral Commission chairman and the processes leading to that appointment has raised some concerns. The MPP, PPP and some civil society groups have called for broader consultation before the new Electoral Commissioner is appointed, but Dr. Chambers said the Constitution clearly stipulates how the EC boss must be appointed, and anything beyond that constitutional mandate is a violation of the laws of Ghana.
I don't understand what is meant by a broad stakeholder consultation process. I would assume that the president in his wisdom, before taking such a major decision, naturally will consult. But to call for a broad stakeholder, I mean, somebody with a legal mind, I'm careful not to slip into, are we asking for a meeting at the Accra Sports Stadium or what?
The opposition, for instance, is saying they don't want to question the integrity of the EC again, and that's why they are calling for a broad stakeholder.
That's an important issue to raise, that it should be somebody who, when he's selected, will be acceptable to all the players.
Dr. Chambers points out whoever is appointed as the new EC boss must be independent-minded with the highest form of integrity to consolidate Ghana's democratic gains.
Just frankly a normal criteria for selecting a referee. A referee should be someone who is independent-minded, who, once the rules are clear, will follow those rules in arbitrating between two or several contending parties. And it should be somebody also who cares about their dignity.
Felix Akoyam, Joy News.
We're taking a break, but we have more stories coming up thereafter. Don't go away. The Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana is blaming depression and even in some cases death of its members on the non-payment of claims by the National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA. The Society's President, James Oheming-Che, who made the claim at a media briefing in Accra today, said some of its members are threatening to unilaterally deny service to NHIA subscribers if the debts are not settled soon. Hanodame has more in this report.
Mr. Oheming-Che lashed out at the NHIA, which he says has lost its focus and is venturing into Project A Shield Knot. He mentioned, for instance, the construction of hospitals and training centers by the authority as non-essential.
Whilst they don't find money to pay claims of our members, they are able to find money, fund non-essential and non-core projects. Take biometric registration. Is it urgent? When you haven't paid your providers, is it necessary for you to embark on biometric registration? What value does it add? If you are able to pay all your claims and you have extra money and you use it to undertake biometric registration, we don't have a problem with that. But when you have not been able to pay your claims for 8 to 10 months and people are suffering, then how on earth do you go and put up buildings in health training institutions? Is that your core duty?
Mr. Oheming-Che revealed how a member died because he got depressed by a 10-month delay in the payment of his claims.
Suppliers do not want to give them credit again. That we even had to lose one of our colleagues from depression because the NHIA had not paid him for so many months.
But has that been confirmed that it was due to the depression?
Yes.
He challenged the NHIA chief executive to fulfill the promise he made on Joy News in February that all claims will be paid by the close of March.
It's the CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority who gave an ultimatum to himself that by end of March 2015, all claims in arrears in 2014 will be paid. That has not been done. We have made an appeal to him to redeem his pledge. If he doesn't, we'll advise ourselves.
Meanwhile, some pharmacists tell Joy News they have already stopped accepting the insurance cards.
I have stopped, not that I'm writing, it was serious loss to me.
How many months were you owed?
It was about 6 to 8 months.
The NHIA is owing us about 9 months in arrears, and the money involved is so colossal that at the moment all my savings in the bank has eroded.
But you haven't stopped, so
I haven't stopped.
And you are in debt. So how are you running your business?
It will come to a time when I would also stop.
Claims payments by the NHIA continue to be one of the major problems facing the authority. Deputy Health Minister Victor Bampo has indicated government is planning to seek a bailout to settle the claims.
In fact, government has started doing things urgent. Number one is to do what you call the bailout. So, find money to rapidly reduce the pressure that the providers are feeling. And this is something that is going on already.
NHIA subscribers will meanwhile be hoping the patients of service providers, such as the pharmacies, will not wear thin. My name is Hannah Odame for Joy News.
The acting CEO of the Mental Health Authority says Ghanaians should demand to know the mental health status of their leaders. Dr. Kwesi believes the sound-mindedness of leadership translates into the general well-being of the country. We're speaking to Joy News on the sidelines of the launch of the first anniversary of the Mental Health Authority.
Being of sound mind is the constitutional requirement for any person seeking public office in Ghana. Nonetheless, it is unclear how this has been checked, especially of our public officers over the years. On the back of this mandatory requirement, Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority is urging Ghanaians to request to know the mental health status of their leaders. Dr. Kwesi believes public officers' mental status determines Ghana's development pace.
And indeed, we should get there. For instance, if the Constitution says that a person of sound mind is only a person of sound mind, frankly, before anybody contests any public office, we should ensure that he is really of sound mind. How do you ensure that? Go through psychiatric screening. Go through psychiatric screening. Because, frankly, some of the policies we get coming out of our policymakers, and you wonder, are these policymakers people of sound mind who could have given us such policies? These are real issues. You look at some laws, you look at some agreements, international agreements that we put our heads as a nation, trap ourselves, and you wonder, just for is it just because you want money that will come to you, or there's something more? Maybe something's not up right here then. These are real issues, and one of these is we need to bring it up very strongly.
The mental health bill was passed a year ago to enhance mental health care delivery. A year down the lane, the authority still has financial challenges that threaten to thwart its efforts, in spite of assistance from the Department for International Development.
We don't have money on our own, and we are using DFID funding. DFID funding has limitations, and that is one such limitation, that we cannot use their money to train personnel outside. But in service, I mean, like training within workshops or in-service training, that can be done. So as we work towards getting our own fund established, then you'll be able to use that to train both within and outside any caliber of personnel that we want. So that will be there. But for now that we don't have our own fund, we are limited. But that's why we are quickly working towards getting the fund established. We are launching it on Saturday and hopefully.
1 of every 5 Ghanaians is said to suffer from one mental illness or the other, including depression and schizophrenia, though a 2009 report suggests 700,000 Ghanaians suffer severe forms of mental illness. For the 700,000 Ghanaians who need mental health care, there exists only 14 psychiatrists to cater for their needs across the country, making it a ratio of 1 to 50,000. For Joy News, Kemini Nyamani Amano.
Now, in a related development, the Executive Secretary of the Mental Health Society says not only leaders need mental health screening, but everyone needs some psychiatric evaluation at least once a year. He explained that the country's current economic situation is likely to affect individuals' mental health unknowingly. He further explained that more and more Ghanaians are suffering from depression, stress, and other mental health conditions and need urgent psychiatric attention.
There has been a situation in Ghana here where a leader of a political party has won a political feud with slippers to go and take their certificate from the Electoral Commission. I mean, this person is somebody who is yearning to become a leader of this country. But if you look at the dressing and the time that he went for this certificate from the Electoral Commission, it should tell you that there's something wrong. We can't wear a suit and wear slippers, and especially go into public men to take a certificate in that kind of outfit, definitely there should be something wrong. So for me, I think that it's perfect to know that people should, especially our leaders. If everybody who wants to stand for a flag bearership or wants to stand for any leadership position is asked to subject himself to the psychiatric evaluation, the better it is for us all, because
still on health, Ghana appears to be making some gains in its fight against malaria, as the number of cases has been on a steady decline in the last 2 years. 2014, for instance, recorded 8.4 million cases compared to the 10 million recorded in 2013. Officials say the number of deaths due to malaria also reduced.
Malaria is a major public health concern globally. It is estimated to kill about 630,000 people globally every year. In Ghana, the disease accounts for 40% of outpatient cases and nearly 30% of patients on admission at the country's health facilities. Briefing the press ahead of the commemoration of World Malaria Day, the National Malaria Control Program said it distributed 12.5 million nets nationwide between 2010 and 2012 as part of efforts to reduce malaria. Another 2.8 million nets are expected to be distributed from next month in the Western and Bonahafo regions. Deputy Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Gloria Kwanzaa-Asare, spoke about gains made in managing the disease.
2014, we realized a good drop in the malaria cases that come to our facilities. It dropped from 8.4 million cases a year in 2014. This is a decline over 11.4 cases in 2013, which we had in 2013. And also the case fatality, that's the number of people who would die from malaria, has also declined. It means that we have also improved in our management and also in the recognition of malaria and early treatment.
James Frimpong of the National Malaria Control Program told Joy News although some gains have been made in reducing malaria-related infant and maternal mortality, malaria among pregnant women remains a challenge.
If a pregnant woman dies and care is not taken, somebody might think the person died of malaria. The mere fact that that pregnant woman might have reported with malaria may not necessarily be the reason why the person died. That person might have died of other complications. But with the children under 5, it is easier to measure, because when they go on admission for severe malaria, they know that these are here for severe malaria. And then they do all they can to salvage or save the child. So you can measure the progress you are making in children. The pregnant women, we cannot be categorical in measuring the impact, even though the impact is great, because the effect in them could be on the fetus. It could also be on the mother herself. And that is where it becomes a bit more tricky in talking about pregnant women's death and malaria. But we've made progress in all those aspects.
The 2015 World Malaria Day will be commemorated in the Western Regional Capital, Takoradi, on Saturday, April 25.
A Circuit Court judge here in Accra is the latest to question the commitment of state prosecutors to the cases they pursue in court. This was after prosecutors' wishy-washy attitude, according to Justice Francis Ubri, compelled him to grant bail to 2 businessmen held for over a month for the alleged importation of narcotics from Bolivia. There is also the controversial acquittal and discharge of businessman Alfred Woyome in the 51 million cedi judgment debt saga. Joy News' Kwachi Afrenuama in the following report highlights some of the recent cases which have given rise to criticism of the Attorney General's Department.
Passport trial of former Nkranza North MP Erica Moatin, both the investigator and prosecutor have failed to appear in court on more than 3 occasions. In all instances, they have cited ill health. They are, however, yet to provide medical proof of their said illness even after instructions from the judge. The ex-legislator's trial has stalled as a result. In the infamous Nayeli Ametepe cocaine scandal, the 6 accused persons said to be accomplices were freed by an Accra Circuit Court after the Attorney General failed to provide any proof of their involvement in the scandal. The 6, including businessman Alhaji Muhammad Dawood, were charged with aiding Miss Ametepe traffic 12.5 kilograms of cocaine to the UK. Initially, the prosecutors mounted a strong argument against their bail request, but the judge eventually granted it after it became clear the AG was delaying with his supposed evidence. In this case as well, Justice Francis Obri's court was forced to adjourn many times while waiting for the state to conclude its findings. In the end, the Attorney General applied to discontinue the case. The court then discharged the 5 for want of prosecution. On Monday, an Accra Circuit Court granted bail to 2 businessmen facing narcotic charges. In his ruling, presiding judge Francis Obri questioned the facts presented to the court by the prosecution. According to him, quote, the facts did not support the charges. He described the handling of cases by prosecutors as wishy-washy. On Tuesday, an Accra court adjourned the criminal trial of former National Service boss for a 7th time. The reason for the postponement is no different from other cases. The state is yet to conclude its investigations. Finally, in the legendary Alfred Woyome case, Justice Najet Nassam questioned the competence of state prosecutors. Mr. Woyome was acquitted and discharged of willfully causing financial loss to the state. The Attorney General has, however, declined comment on the matter immediately. The AG is expected to release a statement on the issue later this week. For Joy News, Kwache Afreniama.
Residents of the Upper West Regional Capital Wa some years ago used to complain about how far they have to trek before procuring petroleum products. Those days are long gone, as the town now has quite a number of these filling stations. The residents, in fact, complain there are so many, they have now become a nuisance, especially those sited in close proximity to their homes and yet without the needed permits. Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam sent in this report.
A couple of years ago, only 4 gas stations were operating in the Wa municipality, having met all necessary requirements. However, the situation is different today as more gas stations have sprung up. Consumers in the municipality admitted they do not have to go around anymore in search of the commodity, but they have issues with the siting of these gas stations. Joe Connor Company Limited was the first company in the municipality. It was sited at the outskirts of the town, but residences have sprung up around the facility. The latest is a mosque and a school just at the nose of the gas tank. This man, who identified himself as the brother of the owner of the 2 structures and doubles as the site foreman of the project, conceded they erred in putting up the structure at the site.
I saw a caterpillar growing the place, but later I realized that there was a project going on. So I asked them what is going on, and they said they had to put up a school. So I questioned asked them, is the school different from the mosque they are building? But I realized that the mosque was too close to our tank. So I quickly reported to EP. And they called me and said, anytime they had to start the project, I have to let them know. So as they started the project, I hinted them back. And up to now, I haven't heard anything.
Executive Director of Civil Society Organization Community Based Alliance CBA, Yusuf Salifu Canton, expressed worry about the situation.
If you look within Wa Township, everywhere now you see people, a grader pushing things. What is going to happen here? That is a filling station. It's a gas station. Like what you just mentioned, close to a school, close to a mosque. Yeah, the person thinks that, oh, once I have the go ahead from those who so-called control things, I can go ahead and do whatever I want with complete disregard for the public interest. And that is why you come in, and that is why I come in, that we must speak out so that at least there can be order in the development of the town. Or else, we are all in a time bomb. I cannot tell when I will be passing by and there's an explosion and I'm the casualty there. So until we begin to speak out, you may find yourself at the other end of laughing at the other end of your mouth when things are already bad. So for me, it is worrying for all of us as citizens and residents of this community. And I think that those that have a mandate to protect all of us from all of these potential catastrophes should act immediately.
Upper West Regional Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, Zinabu Wasai Ken, is unhappy about the latest development.
Just yesterday, we went and saw that a school is coming up just directly behind the distance. When we asked that the distance is, did the assembly give them permit? No permit. And you know, it's a school and there are children involved. Even if you look at the distance, where is even the playing ground? And then they are building a mosque in front of, just directly behind the gas plant. So that is the thing. Said the thing, the person has no building permit, and he has gone to put up the structure. And very close, and there are safe distances that you have to do all this. Because the gas came there before the distance, and the place has been zoned as commercial. And the gas station was the first station in Watam, and the thing was there before this one.
2 other gas stations on the Wa-Nakori Road are located in the middle of the residential facilities, and the Upper West EPA director has issues with that.
We haven't given them a permit. It's only the tank that is there, but they are not operating. And we have said that we will not give them permits because before you the permit is issued, one other thing that EPA has to, there is a neighborhood consultation that we have to, if it is within residential area, we have to find out from the neighbors who are around whether they are okay with the whatever facility that the person wants to put up, and then we take their concerns into consideration. And we have gone around this. We have, from the information that we gathered, we realized that it is not possible to have the gas plants there.
The Wa Municipal Assembly Chief Executive, Ishaku Nuhu Putiaha, rejected claims his outfit has done little to improve the situation.
I think the Assembly have written stop work on them a number of times to stop them. And most of them, it's midnight they go to work at some of these stations because they know they don't have the permit. They've been giving us a whole of hell, but we'll make sure the right thing is done. We'll make sure they go through the right process, all their documents intact. But we've stopped them, and I don't think they can operate without permit in the municipality.
Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
Indeed, that report was by Rafiq Salam. Wow. Up next, we bring you business news. It's now time for business, and Abigail Adumaku entry is here. Good evening to you, Abigail.
Good evening, Israel. There's something familiar about what you're wearing. Where have I seen it before? Well, I know I see you in the office, but can you?
This is the Doomso uniform.
Oh, yes. Oh, that historic day.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, let me leave it there. And Commissioner of the National Insurance Commission, Lydia Lariba-Bauer, has tasked insurers in the country and their counterparts in Anglophone West Africa to target informal sector in their respective economies. According to the NIC boss, the informal sector, which has enormous potential for development of the insurance industry in the sub-region, is not being properly tapped.
With the distribution channels of mobile phones, more people are signing on to insurance products that have been designed. They are very not as complex as the conventional insurance policies, and they are also supposed to, the premiums involved in there are so low, so as to get the low income segment of the population to be able to afford insurance, so that people in the rural area, everybody now has access to a mobile phone, but as to whether they can read when the information comes that you have earned this insurance cover so that you can activate and then access it is the challenge. But more people, for I think from 2009 when we started with 1,000 people, now it's about 1 million people. Now we have 4 million who have been able to access. But the challenge is whether they are really aware that they have this insurance cover. So what we do, and again, the other challenge is that it is only the conventional insurance companies that are providing this cover. And for them, profits is the number one for their operation objective. So they are not able, most of them do not want to go into micro insurance where the premiums are very low. So what is happening is that they are not even prepared to go to the rural areas where the rural folk who are excluded from insurance are mostly based. So what we're trying to do with the new insurance law is to see whether we can have standalone companies that sell just micro insurance.
She also explains the need for one to insure their lives and properties.
You need in your day, as you stand here, even for you to drive from your, you are an employee of, yes, you face risk every day. As you were coming here, you could have slipped and broken your... As you were driving here, anything could have happened. You need insurance. Your property, the house you live in, you need to insure. In fact, we are faced with various risks. Even at your place of employment, your insurer is supposed to compensate you when you are injured in the course of your work.
She appealed to insurers to strategically position themselves to be able to provide appropriate risk mitigation instruments to facilitate the developmental agenda of Africa moving forward.
Still on insurance, it should soon be possible for the motor insurance policy you buy here in Ghana to provide you cover when you travel to other countries in West Africa. First Vice President of the Ghana Insurance Association says the sub-regional insurance cover, an upgrade of the existing brown card system, is currently under serious consideration by players. Kwame Ofori, however, explains policyholders will be required to pay additional premium for the West Africa-wide cover.
What happens is that when your car is involved in an accident, you report to the ECOWAS Branch Secretariat within the country, and then they take care of the claims and everything. You know, what they would do is that they would then work with the Secretariat in Ghana and make sure that the claim is paid. Now, the protocol or the ECOWAS Brown Card scheme has made it very easy for vehicles to travel from one country to the other. Now, what we want to do is that every vehicle that is insured in Ghana would pay that small levy for ECOWAS. The reason is that, you see, even when vehicles do not travel outside Ghana, what is happening is that when vehicles come from other Western countries into Ghana, the vehicles that cause the accidents to these vehicles from the neighboring countries are vehicles in Ghana who say they don't go outside. So we believe that every insured, every vehicle should pay something small, about 2 cedis, 3 cedis, I don't know, something very small, which then will mean that anytime you are going outside of Ghana, you don't then need to go to your insurer to go and do ABC. You just go to your insurer and say, insurer, I'm traveling outside Ghana, and your insurer will only issue you with a sticker or whatever it is, then you go. We're going to introduce in a very short time. I really want to say the date, but in less than 3 months, it's going to really come to being.
Now, plans to ensure security and sustainability of food in Africa by 2050 are underway as 23 European and African national and regional institutions are meeting in Accra to deliberate on best practices. Organizers of the 3-day seminar, Pro-Intense Africa, a research organization, say the meeting is key to maintaining a self-sufficient agricultural sector for Africa.
According to research, the expected growth in the world population from 7 to 9 billion in 2050 and the changing diets require more food to be available by 2050. Africa is set to face the twin challenge of maintaining its food self-sufficiency and the diversity of its agriculture, while its population is expected to double. In order to manage this challenge, Pro-Intense Africa is designed to build an extensive research program on sustainable intensification in sub-Saharan Africa. This is an international partnership of 23 European and African national and regional institutions. Acting Divisional Manager of Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, Dr. Oluwole Fantubi, tells Joy Business Ghana is a key stakeholder for the project.
Interestingly, Ghana is one of the forward-going Africa country when it comes to its agriculture. I'm not insinuating that there are still no challenges, okay? But Ghana is in the forefront of its science, agricultural science and development in Africa, and Ghana is hosting this particular launching. And then the CSIR Institute is one of the 23 institutions that is implementing this project.
That'll be all for business. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Abigail Adumakwenchi. Sports is up next.
Start sports tonight on a pugilistic note, and Ghanaian sensation Emmanuel Tego squares up against Filipino Joybet de los Reyes, with the winner penciled in for a world title shot in the near future. The headline event of a night proudly put together by Baby Jet Promotions is to draw thousands of fans to the fight venue, that's the Crossport Stadium. Samianim Ado, CEO of Baby Jet Productions, and for him, victory is surely a certainty for Emmanuel Tego.
The first bout starts at 7 because we have different time zones with that live coverage. Those other countries may be watching it. That 7 will be 11 p.m., 10 p.m., 9 p.m. So as we've signed that contract, we were going to make sure that the contract we abide by it. So 7 p.m. sharp, we'll start the first bout, and then it will go on and on till Emmanuel the Game Boy Tego and Joybet de los Reyes will mount the ring and make do us all proud.
So for you, what is the prediction? Do you are promoting it, but fairly, what is the prediction?
Game Boy will win, and there are two ways to boxing. He is prepared for the 12 rounds because you don't know what the opponent is also bringing. The one unique thing about Game Boy is that whatever strategy you come with, if you are a southpaw, he can fight you. If you are an orthodox boxer, he can fight you. He will win. But if the guy, what we've seen about the guy, he is always on the aggressive. If he tries to be too aggressive, he can easily go down. If he tries to be too aggressive, unless he becomes careful. But if he tries to be too aggressive, Game Boy will knock him down early. But if he's also
Tennis next, and defending champion of the Magdan Open Tournament, Jeff Bakabase, is confident of retaining his title at the end of the second edition, which kick-started over the weekend. The competition is organized in collaboration with the Ghana Tennis Association, where over the next few days, see all top tennis players compete for honors. Bakabase, who defeated George Darko in last season's final, tells Joy Sports he's hoping for more of the same.
I give respect to the other players, they are good, but I think my target is to try and defend my title once more. So I'm taking one match after the other. If I get to the final, then I think I'll try and defend my title again.
Are you looking at going for the African Games?
Yeah, sure. We're working towards that. We're trying. All the players are training hard towards the African Games. So yes, I think I'll be part of the team. I'll be part of the team as well.
And just to put it into real context, of course, in football, Stephen Keshi has been appointed Nigeria coach for a third time after signing a 2-year contract on Tuesday. His first spell, he won the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations, but the deal was not renewed after the 2014 World Cup. All right, so now time to talk about the UEFA Champions League and great games taking place tonight. Of course, quite a lot in terms of how it all happened then. We can have a look at those two semi-final games that have confirmed 2 slots right now. Barcelona are into the semi-final, and of course we can talk about Bayern Munich. So we just have a look at the results there. And we'll start with Barcelona. They beat Paris Saint-Germain by 2-0. Neymar got a brace. That means that he scored 4 in 5 games against Paris Saint-Germain. In the other game, Bayern Munich beat FC Porto by 6-1. There was a lot of talk about how they were going to do this because Porto were leading this game by 3-1. But of course, Lewandowski got a brace in there. Thiago Alcantara also got a goal in that as well. Müller scored a goal for Bayern Munich. And of course, Prince Boateng's brother, got a goal as well to ensure that Bayern Munich were able to overturn that result. So it's Bayern Munich and Barcelona into the semi-finals. Tomorrow, final what happens between the two Madrids, and of course, in that right now. It's unfortunate there's no Chelsea in the Champions League. My condolences, actually.
But we could have been there, but well, we have to concentrate on other things.
That's right.
Such as winning it. Okay, so I'm here because of the passing of Madame Thérèse Okon. She was a great hockey player. She did so much for hockey, but she did so much too for the country. She designed the national flag.
National flag as well.
The president has directed that all flags fly at half-mast in honor of Mrs. Theodosia Okun, the woman who designed Ghana's flag. A statement signed by Communications Minister Dr. Edward Omanebuama said government has received with profound sadness news of the passing of Mrs. Theodosia Okun, a stateswoman and designer of our national flag, and extends its sincere condolences to her family. Government wishes to pay tribute to Mrs. Okun for her invaluable contributions to our nation-building efforts. So in honor of this extraordinary Ghanaian, President John Mahama has directed that all flags fly at half-mast for 3 days, starting from Tuesday, April 21, 2015.
Israel, I think that's good. I was just going to ask, it was just probably a little late. We expect that to come, much earlier. No, I don't want to be too sarcastic tonight.
Better late than never.
We'll take it that way. That'll be all for sports. Israel will join us with some more. Sure. Have a good night.
To go now, we bring you a top recap of our top stories. 4 people have been injured in a feud between 2 ethnic groups at Agbogloshi here in Accra. A 20-year-old Togolese is in police custody in connection with the death of a 7-year-old girl whose court he is also said to have defiled. The Mental Health Authority says Ghanaians must demand to know the health status of their leaders. And that's it for the bulletin. My name is Uzulai. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening.
This is Joy News.